This is the story of Lucas, a boy who was born with fate itself in the palm of his hand. Lucas is a genius in cultivation. In fact, by the age of just 5, he had already become a poison master. Protecting him is Master Wuju, one of the most powerful masters in the entire martial world. Lucas also possesses a mysterious box that contains the most powerful weapon in the world, so powerful that anyone who uses it could destroy all of humanity in an instant. From his mother, Lucas inherited an incredibly powerful master, an extraordinary body that makes cultivation much easier, and a noble background. However, along with these blessings came many questions. Why was Lucas's mother killed despite having such a powerful master by her side? Where did that terrifying weapon come from? And most importantly, who is Lucas's father? Before dying, his mother told him only one thing: if you ever encounter guards dressed in red, stay away from them. But now, those very same red-clothed guards are kneeling before him, calling him their young master. So who is he really? And what exactly is inside that box that the entire world is desperate to obtain? Lucas is surrounded by questions, answers that only he can uncover. And as he searches for them, he will explore the world, grow stronger, and embark on an incredible journey. At the beginning of the story, we are told that humans became obsessed with power and advanced their technology to extreme levels. However, in their endless pursuit of power, they gained nothing. Instead, humanity brought about its own destruction. The few survivors who remained sealed all of their advanced technology inside a temple. Because of the wars, the land had become barren and lifeless. But after a very long time, the world slowly recovered, and humanity began to flourish once again. Then one day, the gates of the temple suddenly opened. A mysterious girl stepped out, taking with her all the powerful weapons stored inside. Her name was Mei. After entering the world, she made many allies and greatly elevated her family's status. She also brought with her the supreme book from the temple, which allowed the Nanking Institute to rise rapidly. Thanks to Mei's advanced technology, the world was completely transformed. But one day, Mei was suddenly killed, leaving behind her young son. The scene shifts. We see an extremely powerful master carrying a small child in a bucket while being attacked by numerous assassins. That child is none other than our main character, Lucas. Lucas was confused, wondering what is happening and how he ended up in this body. Just moments ago, he was in a hospital, on the verge of dying from cancer. But when he opened his eyes, he found himself in this new world. Now countless assassins are chasing him, trying to kill him. The one protecting Lucas is his late mother's servant, Supreme Master Wuju. He also understands that the master protecting him is far stronger than the assassins surrounding them. However, soon Master Wuju was completely surrounded. Crying, Lucas thinks, "It's over. I'm going to die." But suddenly, the assassins were wiped out in an instant. Master Wuju says, "The mechanical knights have arrived." At that moment, Chen Ping appears, the dean of the Nanking Institute. He declares that the outside world will never understand that their so-called powers are nothing compared to true technology. Chen Ping then asks about Mei. Master Wuju replies that she has been killed and demands an explanation for what happened. Chen Ping looks at the child and asks, "Is this the young lady's son?" Wuju confirms it. But the moment Chen Ping sees Lucas's face, he was so shocked that he nearly faints. He mutters, "He looks exactly like his mother. Assassins were chasing him, and yet he's sleeping peacefully." Wuju coldly responds, "You've seen enough. There's no need for you to look at him anymore." Chen Ping asks, "Where are you taking him?" Wuju replies, "Far away. Somewhere no harm can reach him." Chen Ping insists that once his master returns, the capital will be safe again. But Wuju dismisses him, saying he doesn't trust his master at all. Chen Ping then mocks Wuju, saying, "You're blind. What can you possibly teach this child? Sure, the martial world bows before you, but all you know is how to kill." Wuju fires back, "And you're crippled. What could you possibly teach him?" After a moment, Chen Ping says, "In that case, I know the perfect place for him. A place where he can live with a new identity." Wuju asks where. Chen Ping replies, "Take him to Tenju. There he can change his identity and live peacefully." The scene shifts again. Now grown up, Lucas was seen telling his friends the story of solo leveling. His friends comment that Martial Peak was also a great story, while a girl nearby says she prefers Immortal Luo Wuji. Lucas sighs and says, "You guys are still kids. You don't understand how amazing solo leveling really is." Suddenly, one of his friends runs up to him in panic and says, "Lucas, hurry home. Your butler is attacking your people." The scene shifts to Lucas's house. The butler was brutally beating the maids, demanding, "Tell me where the young master has gone." The maids beg, "We don't know. Please let us go." Then another maid says, "Maybe Gwen knows where the young master is." Gwen said, "The young master has forbidden me. I won't tell anyone where he is." The butler sneered, "Oh, is that so? Then you'll have to take the punishment." Gwen thought to herself, "The young master told me not to say anything, but this butler might beat me to death. I might not survive this." "Still," she said firmly, "beat me as much as you want. I won't say a word." The butler replied coldly, "If that's the case, I'll grant your wish." Just then, Lucas arrived and said, "How dare you lay your hands on my maids?" The butler responded, "Young master, you took the young miss away without informing anyone. If something had happened to her, what would we have done? I may not be able to teach you a lesson, but I can certainly punish your maids for encouraging you. The young Miss Roya stepped forward and said, I'll handle this. Our butler is extremely rude. I'll speak to him personally. Lucas shook his head. You're still young. There's no need for you to get involved in this. Then Lucas stepped forward, climbed onto a chair and said, Butler, come here. Placing his hand on the butler's cheek, he said calmly, Stand still. The butler thought, he's just a 4-year-old child. What could he possibly do to me? In the next moment, Lucas struck him so hard that the butler was sent flying, even losing a tooth. Lucas said, That should teach you a lesson. The butler, furious, shouted, So arrogant at such a young age. I'll report this to the old lady. Soon the butler stood before the old lady and complained, The young master hit me. This is completely unacceptable. Lucas said, Grandma, don't listen to this scoundrel. I did nothing wrong. Roya added, Yes, Grandma, this butler is awful. He was beating brother's maids, so brother punished him. The old lady said, If that's the case, then replace all of Lucas's maids. Lucas quickly objected, No, Grandma, there's no need for that. But she replied firmly, Do as I say. Then Lucas looked at the butler and said sarcastically, You came here to complain, didn't you? Are you satisfied now? The old lady continued, After dinner, Roya will return to the capital. That decision will not change. Later, Lucas returned home. Gwen said, Young master, you're back. Lucas asked, Gwen, didn't you go home? Tears in her eyes, Gwen replied, I don't have a home to go to. I worked in this mansion, and now that I've been dismissed, no one will even accept me. Lucas said gently, Your situation is just like mine. Gwen asked, What do you mean? Lucas replied, You don't have parents, and neither do I. Gwen hesitated and said, But your father holds a very high position in the capital. Lucas said calmly, My mother is dead, and I've never even seen my father. As far as I'm concerned, he doesn't exist. And as for you, you don't need to go anywhere. I'll take care of everything. Gwen thought gratefully, Thank you, master. Later that night, lying in his room, Lucas thought, Roya is going back to the capital. Will she get better food there? Well, it's the capital, so of course she will. But why can't I sleep? Why does her leaving bother me so much? Meanwhile, something appeared on the roof above his room. Inside, Lucas muttered, No matter how hard I try, I just can't fall asleep. Then he took out a book with a plain yellow cover. It had no title. Master Wuju gave this to me when I was very young. Back in my previous life, I read many manhwa, so I can tell that these drawings represent a cultivation method. I've been practicing it for a year now, and I've become quite proficient. Suddenly, an assassin entered his room. Startled, Lucas thought, Someone's here to kill me. The man asked, Are you Lucas? In response, Lucas suddenly hugged him and said, Father, you're finally back. The man replied coldly, Father, my name is Faizi, and I am not your father. Lucas insisted, Don't lie, I know you're my father. In the process, Lucas accidentally tore Faizi's shirt. Lucas said, Sorry about that, Faizi snapped. I told you, I'm not your father. Lucas calmly said, Father, please calm down. I've prepared some tea for you. Faizi replied irritably, I told you, I'm not your dad. But seeing Lucas on the verge of tears, he reluctantly agreed to drink the tea. As he sipped it, he asked, Who made this tea? Lucas answered, My mother. Faizi frowned. Stop talking nonsense. Your mother died when you were born. Lucas replied, What are you saying? My mother is always with me. Faizi thought, My clothes were made from extremely high-quality material. Even a knife would struggle to cut them. Yet this 4-year-old child tore them so easily. Then Lucas suddenly said, Mom is here. Faizi looked to the side but saw nothing. He muttered, I knew it. This kid is just messing with me. In that instant, Lucas struck Faizi on the head with a jade object. After just one hit, Faizi couldn't move. Lucas said, That's not enough. He struck again, shattering the jade on impact. Thinking quickly, Lucas said to himself, That assassin was dangerous. It's a good thing I used my brain to protect myself. But did I kill him? No. Someone like him won't die from just 2 hits. He'll wake up soon, and then he'll definitely kill me. There's only one way to make sure he stays quiet. Saying this, Lucas pulled out Faizi's dagger and prepared to finish him off. Then the scene shifts. Lucas arrives at Master Wuju's place and says, Uncle Wuju, please open the door. Uncle Wuju replies from inside, The shop is closed. If you want to buy something, come back tomorrow. Lucas urgently says, Uncle Wuju, an assassin attacked me. Uncle Wuju responds casually, So what do you want me to do? Should I report it to the guards? Lucas quickly says, No, don't tell the guards, because I might have killed him. Uncle Wuju sighs, Young master, please don't joke around. You're only 4 years old. You can't even kill an ant, and you're saying you killed someone. Lucas insists, Uncle Wuju, stop acting. This is serious. If anyone finds out I killed someone, they'll throw me in prison. You've protected me since I was a child. You have to help me. As Uncle Wuju steps out, he mutters, Young master, you're always getting into trouble. Lucas grabs him and says, There's no time to talk. We need to go. They soon arrive where Faizi was lying. Uncle Wuju examines him and says, He's not dead. Lucas says, I hit him twice on the head, but he still didn't die? Uncle Wuju replies, That's because he's not an assassin. At that moment, Fadesy starts to regain consciousness, but Lucas immediately smashes a chair onto his head again. Uncle Wuju says, "This is Master Fadesy, the head of the 3rd Bureau of the Overwatch Council. He works under your father." Shocked, Lucas says, "If that's true, why didn't you tell me earlier? And besides, it's not my fault. He looked exactly like an assassin." Uncle Wuju continues, "His name is Master Fadesy. He is an extremely powerful poison master. From identifying poison to neutralizing it, he has mastery over everything." Lucas gulps and says, "If he's that powerful, he'll definitely be furious with me. Uncle Wuju, I think it's time we silence him forever." Uncle Wuju stares at him and says, "How can a 4-year-old be this cruel?" Lucas replies calmly, "No one will ever find out what happened here." Uncle Wuju says, "I know he works for your father, but I have no idea why he's here." Just then, Master Fadesy wakes up and groans, "My head hurts." After a while, they bandage his wounds. Fadesy asks, "What happened to me?" Lucas quickly says, "I served you tea and after drinking it you suddenly got very sleepy." Fadesy frowns, "Then why is my head bleeding?" Lucas explains, "After you got sleepy you fell over and hit your head on the table." Fadesy narrows his eyes and says, "I remember it was you who hit me." Lucas waves his hands nervously. No, what are you saying? I'm just a small child. Why would I hit you?" Fadesy mutters, "If that's true, then who attacked me?" Lucas points and says, "Uncle Wuju did." Fadesy nods. "Ah, so Master Wuju hit me. That's my mistake. I shouldn't have come here like that. Being beaten by Master Wuju is nothing to be ashamed of." Uncle Wuju immediately says, "I didn't do it. The one who hit you was the young master, and not just once but 3 times. Lucas thinks, "I'm doomed." Fadesy looks surprised but then says, "I never expected one of the 5 greatest masters of the martial world to be here in Tenju. It's incredible. After so many years, none of you have aged. You look exactly the same." Uncle Wuju asks seriously, "Tell me, why are you here?" Fadesy replies, "Lord Earl paid me a large sum to come here. I've been hired as Lucas's master." Lucas asks, "Did my father send you?" Uncle Wuju says, "That wasn't part of my agreement with the Lord." Fadesy explains, "The young master will grow up soon and eventually have to go to the capital. You know how dangerous the capital is. The sooner he becomes strong, the better. But if you have any objections, I'll leave. I may offend the Lord, but I cannot offend you." Uncle Wuju thinks for a moment and says, "That crippled man is very cunning. He wouldn't send you here for something trivial." Fadesy nods, "You're right. The box that the young lady possessed was never found. If it falls into the wrong hands, you know what could happen. Our Lord needs your help." Uncle Wuju replies, "There's no point searching for it anymore. The young lady destroyed it before she died." Fadesy sighs in relief. "That's good to hear, but this young master is quite unusual. He's only 4 years old and you've already given him such a powerful cultivation method. If he practiced it incorrectly, something terrible could have happened." Uncle Wuju says, "I only gave him the book. I never taught him how to cultivate. Now that you're his master, it's your responsibility to make him stronger." Fadesy thinks, "I don't know why, but I feel like this child will become someone extraordinary in the future." The next day, Grandma asks, "Master Fei, what happened to you?" Fadesy replies, "I came here to become the young master's teacher, but on the way I was attacked by some gangsters and badly beaten." Grandma says, "That's terrible. Were they caught?" Fadesy answers, "Yes. Don't worry, they've already been dealt with. My enemy was quite cunning, but now I have many ways to teach him a lesson." The maids whisper among themselves, "This man just joined the family yesterday. He's probably the young master's new teacher, but he looks more like a gangster than a teacher." Lucas steps forward and says, "Master, please forgive me for what happened yesterday. It wasn't my fault. If you enter a 4-year-old child's room in the middle of the night, of course he'll get scared. By the way, teacher, what are you going to teach me?" Fadesy smiles and says, "I will teach you how to use poison to kill and how to detoxify any kind of poison." Hearing this, Lucas said excitedly, "That sounds like an amazing lesson. So master, what are we waiting for? Should we start right now? Do you want me to catch some rats so we can experiment on them?" Looking at him, Master Fei thought, is he really just 4 years old? Most children get scared when they hear about poison, but he's actually excited. That night, they arrived at a graveyard. Master Fei said, "Lucas, we're in a graveyard right now." Lucas replied calmly, "Yes, master, I can see that." Trying to scare him, Master Fei said, "Now you need to dig up a grave." Lucas looked around and said, "That one looks good. We'll dig this one." "But master, I'm just a child. Digging an entire grave will be difficult for me. Why don't you help?" Master Fei handed him a shovel and said, "Stop talking and start digging." So Lucas began digging, while Master Fei sat nearby, drinking leisurely. After some time, Lucas said, "Master, it's finally done. Should we open the coffin now?" Master Fei replied, "Wait a second. Do you even know why we're here?" Lucas answered, "It's simple. We're here to perform an autopsy so I can understand the structure of the human body." For a first lesson, this is pretty impressive. Master Fei was shocked. Why isn't he scared? And how does he already know all this? Then Lucas punched the coffin and broke it open. He asked, "Master, did you say something?" Master Fei quickly replied, "No, nothing. Now it's time to cut open the corpse and find out how this person died." As Lucas picked up a knife, he suddenly hesitated. Smiling, Master Fei said, "So you're finally scared. No matter how much you pretend, you're still just a 4-year-old child. I knew you'd be afraid." Lucas replied, "I'm not scared at all. The body must be full of germs. I need some protection." Master Fei asked, "Germs? What are those?" Lucas said, "It's dirty. I need gloves." Master Fei replied, "Autopsies are dangerous work. How will you do it while wearing thick gloves?" Lucas clarified, "Not thick gloves. I mean thin ones that fit tightly on the hands." Master Fei shook his head. "I've never heard of such things. Just wash your hands after using the knife. That's the only option we have." Lucas sighed, "Looks like I have no choice." Then he began the autopsy. Master Fei said, "You're quite smart. By now you must understand why I'm teaching you poison." Lucas replied, "Yes, it's simple. I belong to a powerful family, and I'm also my father's illegitimate son. My other mothers will definitely try to kill me. Poison is the easiest way to do that. You're teaching me poison so I can protect myself." Master Fei nodded. "You're right, your Uncle Wuju may be immune to poison, but he can't always protect you." Lucas then asked, "You were very respectful toward Uncle Wuju. Can you tell me his real identity?" Master Fei replied, "His full name is Master Wuju. He was your mother's servant and his martial arts skills are on par with the 4 great masters of this world." Lucas said, "So my mother was very powerful?" Fei shook his head. "I wouldn't call her powerful, but she was unique. Her methods were unlike anything in this world, and her knowledge was extraordinary. I can say this with certainty. She was a true genius." Lucas then asked quietly, "If that's the case, why did she die?" Master Fei replied, "I'm afraid I can't tell you that." Then he added, "Why are you suddenly asking so many questions, and why are you making that strange face?" At that moment, Lucas suddenly started vomiting. Laughing, Master Fei said, "I knew it, you couldn't handle it your first time. This kind of work is not easy." Lucas thought, what kind of teacher is this? He's actually happy seeing his students suffer. Master Fei said, "You're already vomiting. Let me tell you, your future is going to be very tough." The next morning, Lucas and Master Fei returned home. Master Fei said, "You worked hard all night. Here, have some dumplings." Lucas thought, this old man made me work so hard, but he actually seems like a good person. He even takes care of me. Master Fei said, "Why are you staring at me? Eat quickly." Lucas said, "Master, I noticed something. You speak very politely to Uncle Wuju. Is that fear or respect?" Master Fei replied, "What do you mean? I respect Master Wuju." Lucas asked, "Is Uncle Wuju really that powerful?" Master Fei sighed, "Looks like I'll have to explain. In this world, warriors are divided into 9 levels. Above the 9th level are the 4 great masters, those who have reached the peak of power, unmatched by anyone. First is the Nanking King Li Yun, also called Yi Li Yun. He has never lost a duel. Second is Kui, the national master of the Northern Qi dynasty, one of the strongest in the world. Third is the Lord of Dongkai City, who can defend an entire city alone. Fourth is the guardian of the Nanking Palace, who has fought all 3 of them and never lost. And then comes Master Wuju, the 5th greatest master in the world. If these 5 weren't so powerful, the entire world wouldn't tremble before them." Lucas said, "I never imagined Uncle Wuju was this strong. He once gave me a cultivation method. It must be incredibly powerful." Master Fei nodded. "You're right. The energy inside your body is extremely dominant." Lucas grinned. "I knew it. Being Uncle Wuju's disciple, I can't be ordinary. I'll become as powerful as him." Master Fei said seriously, "You've only been cultivating for a short time, but your energy has already grown too much. That's not a good sign." Worried, Lucas asked, "Is there a problem?" Master Fei replied, "Keep practicing regularly and try to control your energy. Let me see how powerful it really is." Lucas nodded. "All right, I'm starting." Master Fei said, "Release your energy. Don't worry, you're just a child. No matter how strong it is, it can't harm someone like me." Lux released his energy. It surged violently, so powerful that it began to overflow. Opening his eyes, Lucas asked, "Teacher, did you feel my energy?" But then he noticed, Master Fei was gone. In reality, Lucas's energy had blown him away. Lucas rushed over and said, "Teacher, are you okay? You're not hurt again, are you?" Shocked, Master Fei said, "You're only 4 years old. Where did such terrifying energy come from?" Lucas replied shyly, "Please don't praise me that much." Master Fei said seriously, "I'm not praising you. If this continues, you'll explode." Frightened, Lucas asked, "Explode?" Master Fei explained, "Think of it like a glass jar. If you fill it with a normal amount of liquid, nothing happens. But if it overflows, the jar will burst. Your body is in the same condition right now." Lucas asked anxiously, "Then what should we do?" Master Fei replied, "Honestly, the situation looks quite bad." Just then Uncle Wuju arrived and said, "Both of you, master and student, are complete fools." Master Fei said, "Master Wuju, when did you get here?" Lucas added, "Uncle Wuju, the technique you gave me turned out to be extremely powerful." Uncle Wuju corrected him, "I didn't give you that technique. Your mother left it for you." Lucas asked, "What's the name of that book?" Uncle Wuju replied, "It's called Domineering and Infuriating." Lucas frowned. "Uncle Wuju, I may be young, but I'm not stupid. That book definitely doesn't have a name, and only you could come up with something that ridiculous. Master Fei said, I was really worried. The young master has too much power. Master Wuju, you must have some technique to suppress it. Uncle Wuju shook his head. I don't know any such method. Master Fei was shocked. You don't know? Uncle Wuju replied. How would I? I've never practiced energy cultivation. Both Lucas and Fei were stunned. How is that possible? Lucas asked. If you've never cultivated energy, how are you so powerful? Master Fei thought, so he doesn't use energy at all. His strength comes purely from his body. Now I understand why everyone says Master Wuju is the strongest. No one else could reach this level without energy. Uncle Wuju then said, Lucas, don't worry. You won't explode. Relieved, Master Fei said, I knew Master Wuju would have a solution. Lucas smiled. Uncle, you're amazing. But Uncle Wuju shook his head. No, if you want to survive, you must stop cultivating for now. Master Fei thought, if he stops, how will he ever become strong? Later, Master Fei took Lucas into the forest. Pointing at a strange-looking mushroom, he said, you need to eat this. Lucas replied, Master Fei, that looks really weird. Over the course of a year, Lucas ended up tasting almost every plant in the forest. Thanks to Master Fei's harsh training methods, Lucas became highly skilled in using poison. Without Master Fei, Lucas would have died countless times. 1 year later, Master Fei said, we've spent a year together, and you've learned everything. Lucas replied, yes, and you've taken plenty of revenge on me during that time. If I didn't have such a strong will to live, I would have died many times. What matters is that you've improved. Forget everything you went through to get here. Now that you've learned everything, it's time for me to say goodbye. Lucas asked, Master, are you going back to the capital? Master Fei nodded. I've already reported your progress. Well, I've received orders to return within half a month. They both fell silent for a moment. Lucas said quietly, so this is your last month here. Master Fei smiled. Even if it is, I still have unfinished business. I won't leave until I settle it. Lucas muttered, you've been settling scores with me all year. Suddenly, blood began to flow from Lucas's nose. Master Fei said calmly, don't get too excited. I've poisoned you again. If you delay, you'll die. They quickly moved to the courtyard. Master Fei said, based on your symptoms, figure out which poison I used. If you succeed, you'll become a true poison master. Lucas analyzed. It tastes bitter, and it's mixed with Chinese medicine. Master Fei placed several bottles in front of him. One of these is the antidote. Find it. Lucas began smelling each one. Not this either. Finally, he picked one and said, this is it. Master Fei said, if you're sure, try it. As Lux drank it, Master Fei quietly opened an umbrella. Lucas asked, Master, did I choose correctly? Suddenly, blood gushed from his nose. Master Fei said, I told you to check the bottles. I never said the antidote was among them. Lucas groaned. What kind of teacher does this to his student? Master Fei smirked. I'll give you another chance. Poison me. If you succeed, I'll acknowledge you as a true poison master. Lucas thought, just wait, I'll show you. A few days later, Master Fei was sitting and drinking when Lucas arrived with food. Master, I've brought your meal. Master Fei said, you've become quite punctual lately. Don't tell me you're sad that I'm leaving. Lucas replied calmly, I'm just doing what a disciple should. Please enjoy the food, it's very well prepared. Master Fei said, leave the food here, but take that liquor away. Lucas paused. Master Fei, how did you know? Master Fei replied, you're still just a child. It's impossible for you to poison me. As Lucas walked away, he thought, you've taken the bait. A few days later, Master Fei suddenly started bleeding from his nose. Lucas smiled and said, Master, you've lost. Master Fei asked, shocked, what kind of poison did you use? As far as I remember, I didn't make any mistakes. Lucas explained, the poison I used is called time. For the past few days, I've been feeding you regularly. All the food was cooked in highly refined oil, and the soups were heavily spiced. You consumed large amounts of oily and spicy food, and you didn't do any physical activity. Slowly, toxins built up inside your body, and over time, I poisoned you. Master Fei said, I'm certain that in the future, you'll discover new ways to use poison and take the art of poison mastery to a whole new level. Lucas asked eagerly, so Master, does that mean I've become a poison master? Nodding, Master Fei replied, yes, you have. Hearing this, Lucas was overjoyed. At just 5 years old, I've already become a poison master. Soon after, they arrived in the forest. Master Fei said, it's time for us to part ways. I've truly enjoyed this past year. Lucas replied, since childhood there was only one person I trusted, Uncle Wuju. Master Fei nodded, and he is worthy of that trust. Lucas continued, but now, I've found someone else I can trust just as much. You, Master Fei. Please don't forget me, or this place. Master Fei smiled faintly. It would be hard to forget you. Then he handed Lucas a name tag and said, keep this safe, it will be useful to you someday. The dean sent it for you. Lucas looked at it and said, this is a secretary position? Is it something important? Master Fei replied, it originally belonged to your mother. That's why it's being given to you. Lucas then said, Master, I made something for you. These are medical gloves. Wanye made them from special silk. If you ever conduct experiments in the future, please use them. Master Fei said warmly, thank you. This is truly impressive. Looking at Lucas, he thought, if I had met him earlier, maybe I would have had a family too. As Master Fei left, Lucas called out, Master, I'll definitely come to the capital to meet you again. Master Fei thought everything was going well, but what does he mean by that? Later, Lucas went to Uncle Wuju. He said, Uncle Wuju, you don't drink orange juice, right? I brought this specially for you. If you don't drink this orange juice, I'll have to finish it myself. Uncle Wuju replied, drinking orange juice isn't good for children. Lucas said, Uncle, there are many things I want to ask you. I've known you for 5 years, but your appearance hasn't changed at all. I also heard from Master Fei that you're an incredibly powerful martial artist, even the 5th great master in the world. And what kind of person was my mother? Also, why don't you drink orange juice? Before he could finish, Lucas suddenly fainted. The next morning, Uncle Wuju said, You're finally awake. Lucas replied weakly, I feel strange. It's like my body is breaking from the inside. Uncle Wuju said, You drank too much orange juice last night. That disrupted the energy inside your body. Lucas said, Uncle Wuju, you gave me that cultivation book. Now you have to teach me how to control my energy. Uncle Wuju replied, I told you, I don't know how. Lucas said, I remember everything clearly. So what should I do now? Uncle Wuju said, Fine, I have a solution. I'll attack you. Lucas blinked, and then Uncle Ju said calmly, You run. Lucas complained, Why are all masters like this? Why do you enjoy bullying me? Uncle Wuju explained, There's too much energy in your body. You need to consume it, or your organs will eventually fail. Focus your energy into your legs. Use it to run faster. With that, Uncle Wuju dashed forward. Wait for me, Lucas shouted, chasing after him. Lucas thought, using my energy, I can run much faster. If I keep this up, Uncle Wuju won't be able to catch me. Suddenly, Uncle Ju struck him, sending him flying into the water. Lucas protested. That was a sneak attack. Uncle Ju said, Speed alone isn't enough. Your eyesight and reaction speed must also improve. Only then can you avoid getting hurt. Lucas smirked. If that's the case, Uncle, this is going to get difficult for you. He dashed away again, with Uncle Wuju chasing him. Lucas thought, if I can cross that cliff, he won't be able to catch me. He leaped off the cliff. I've come this far using my full strength. No matter how hard he tries, Uncle Wuju won't reach me now. But suddenly, Uncle Wuju appeared above him and kicked him straight into the ground. Crying, Lucas said, Why does this always happen? It hasn't even been a day since Master Fei left, and I already have an even scarier teacher. Uncle Wuju said calmly, If you can land even a single hit on me, or touch my clothes, I'll admit defeat. At that point, you'll be considered qualified. Lucas grinned, That sounds easy. My punches are powerful. I might not hit your body, but touching your clothes should be simple. But the next moment, he crashed straight into a wall. From that day on, Lucas trained with Uncle Wuju every day. 1 year passed, then 10. Now Lucas was 16 years old. Yet despite growing stronger, one thing hadn't changed. He was still getting beaten by Uncle Wuju. One day, hiding nearby, Lucas thought, This time I'll launch a sneak attack. He won't be able to dodge it. He moved behind Uncle Wuju and prepared to strike, but before he could act, Uncle Wuju kicked him away again. Groaning, Lucas said, Uncle Wuju, can't you go easy on your own nephew? Uncle Wuju walked toward him and said, Lucas, you're finally qualified. Lucas replied, I've never even managed to touch you. Uncle Wuju said, You've become strong enough. Our training ends here. Later, back home, Gwen said, Young Master, Mr. Wuju's attacks are extremely powerful. You still can't match him. Lucas replied, That's what I used to think too. But after training every day, I'm confident that one day I'll reach his level. Uncle hits me so that my eyesight and reaction speed become sharper. That way, no one else will be able to harm me. Honestly, Uncle's beatings are actually good for me. Gwen thought to herself, maybe the young master has hit his head. That's why he's saying even getting beaten is a good thing. Lucas said, My uncle told me that the training we're doing right now is nothing. The real danger will begin when the red-clothed guards arrive. Gwen asked, Real danger? Red-clothed guards? Lucas replied, All right, enough talk. I still need to do some more training. Gwen asked, What do you mean? Lucas smiled slightly. Nothing. I'll tell you a new story today. The next day, Lucas was practicing in the courtyard when he suddenly said, It sounds like a lot of people are approaching on horseback. Just from the sound, I can tell they're a well-trained army. As soon as Lucas stepped outside, he froze. In front of him stood the red-clothed guards. Lucas murmured, So, they've finally arrived. All the guards immediately knelt down and said, By the orders of Lord Earl, we have come to escort young Master Lucas. Lucas thought, Does this mean I have to go to the capital? Lucas then went to his grandmother. Grandma, some people have come to take me away. She replied, Yes, I already know about them. They came before, when you weren't here. I refused them. You are not going anywhere. Capital is not safe. Your mother died after going there. If she had never gone, she would have lived a much longer life. Lucas said, But they're all kneeling and insisting that I must go. Grandma said coldly, If they want to kneel, let them. Even if they die here, just bury their bodies. Lucas thought, Grandma is incredibly dominant. He said, All right, Grandma, I'll go. Just then, she accidentally cut the cloth she was holding and muttered, "Everything is ruined, the cloth and our lives." After that, Lucas went to Uncle Wuju. He said, "Uncle Wuju, I have a serious question and only you can answer it." Uncle Wuju replied, "You're wondering whether you should go to the capital or not." Lucas was surprised. "How did you know? Why do they want to take me there?" "I want to go, but I'm also scared. You said my mother died in the capital. Does that mean someone there might try to kill me too?" "Monsieur," Uncle Wuju said calmly, "don't worry, I'll go with you." Lucas asked, "What do you mean?" Uncle Wuju replied, "I'll go to the capital with you." Relieved, Lucas said, "I see. Then I have another question. How do you still look the same as you did years ago?" Hearing this, Uncle Wuju fell silent. Later, at dinner, Lucas asked, "Has Grandma eaten?" The butler replied, "No, she's been busy reading a book." Lucas said, "All right, I'll start eating." He tasted a small portion of every dish, then picked up the bamboo chopsticks and said, "I'll finish the rest in my room." The butler said, "You barely ate anything. What about the rest of the food?" Lucas replied, "As always, distribute it." The butler muttered, "So many years have passed, yet this child still doesn't know how to eat properly. How was he even born into a noble family?" A maid whispered, "According to tradition, the master eats first, and whatever remains is given to us. But our young master tastes every dish first, so everyone ends up getting enough to eat. He may seem arrogant, but he's actually very kind." The butler scoffed, "I still don't understand what the old lady sees in him. I've never liked him." As Lucas walked through the corridor, Gwen said, "Something feels strange, doesn't it?" Lucas replied, "Yes, the food was poisoned." Gwen was shocked. "What? Poisoned?" Lucas said, "The poison was applied to the bamboo chopsticks." He thought, "That's why I always taste a little of every dish, to make sure it's safe before others eat it. Oh, good thing I did, otherwise everyone could have died." He took out a powder from his drawer and consumed it, forcing himself to vomit everything he had eaten. Gwen, panicking, said, "Young master, are you all right? I'm really worried." Lucas said calmly, "The poison was very weak. It wouldn't be enough to kill someone easily. This poison is called cat button. It's commonly used by members of the Overwatch Council. It comes from a fruit found on Savage Island, and its juice can be mixed into food without being noticed. It weakens the body, making it easier to kill the target later. If I had gone to sleep after eating, I would have definitely died. It has a slightly bitter taste, which means the person who poisoned me is highly skilled." They masked the flavor perfectly. Then Lucas asked, "Gwen, do you know where those bamboo chopsticks came from?" Gwen replied, "They were delivered by Laha's nephew." Lucas frowned. "But Laha always delivers the food himself. Where did this nephew suddenly come from?" Gwen said, "He told us Laha was unwell, so he came instead. Is something wrong?" Lucas thought, "I know Laha well. He doesn't have any nephew." Lucas thought, "That man must be the assassin. He poisoned me, but didn't try to kill me immediately. What is he planning?" Gwen asked anxiously. "Young master, where are you going? Are you fully recovered?" Lucas replied, "I'm fine. I'm just going out for a while." Gwen said, "Can I come with you?" Lucas shook his head. "Where I'm going could be dangerous. Stay here." He thought, "Now that I know where he might be, I won't let him go. I'll deal with him personally." Lucas then rushed toward Lahoa's house. When he arrived, he saw Lahoa tied up. Clearly someone had restrained him. Lucas thought, the assassin didn't kill Laoa. Let me see who that person really is. As he untied Laoa, Lucas asked, "Who did this?" Laoa replied, "Young master, I don't know anything." Then suddenly he shouted, "Young master, behind you!" An assassin attacked from behind, but Lucas reacted instantly and struck back, knocking him away. Lucas said coldly, "So, you're the one who poisoned me?" The assassin replied, "Yes, that was me." It was revealed that his name was Tang Saijing. Tang moved forward to attack again, but Lucas raised his hand and said, "Wait a second." Then he told Laoha, "Stand back or you'll get hurt." After that, Lucas said, "Now I'm ready to fight." Tang sneered, "You're just an ordinary human. You're going to die." He threw several kunai at Lucas, but Lucas blocked them with precise movements. Then Lucas rushed forward to attack, but Tang dodged and continued throwing hidden weapons. Dodging the attacks, Lucas said, "You sure have a lot of hidden weapons." Tang replied, "I won't stop until you're dead." Meanwhile, from a rooftop nearby, Uncle Wuju watched the battle from a distance. The two fighters were evenly matched, but soon they clashed head-on. Lucas said, "Your dagger was poisoned." Tang replied, "You've already lost. You're young yet incredibly strong for your age. If you had survived, you would have become a powerful master. The poison I put in your food weakened you, and the poison on my dagger will finish you." Lucas frowned. "That's not fair. You're cheating." Tang replied coldly, "I'm an assassin. Right and wrong don't matter to me. My job is to kill, and I'll do whatever it takes." Suddenly, Lucas started laughing. Tang said, "What's so funny?" At that moment, blood began to flow from Tang's nose. He collapsed to the ground. Shocked, Tang asked, "Was your dagger poisoned too?" Lucas replied, "I've been exposed to poison since I was a child. Ordinary poison doesn't affect me anymore. If you want to kill me, you'll need much more than this." He then placed his weapon against Tang's throat and said, "Now tell me, who sent you? You poisoned my food, but only with a small dose. You knew it wouldn't kill me. Why? Tang replied, I came to kill you, but I didn't want any innocent people to get caught up in it. Lucas said, you're an assassin, but you sound like a decent person. Now tell me, who sent you? Tang replied, I was sent to eliminate a traitor. Shocked, Lucas said, a traitor? Me? Tang said, even if I die, you will still die, whether by my hands or someone else's. I belong to the Inspection Institute. Anyone we target, not even the gods can save. Lucas said, your superior, 3rd Division leader Master Fei was once my teacher. Surprised, Tang said, Master Fei was your teacher? Lucas replied, I'm only 16. My mother died when I was born. I've lived as an illegitimate son, and I've never even met my father. I've never left this city. Do you really think someone like me could be a traitor? Tang paused, then said, you're right, someone like you couldn't be a traitor. Lucas said, this is all your mistake. You came here to kill me without knowing the truth. Tang nodded. I understand now. Someone must have framed you and wants you dead. Lucas then turned to leave. Tang called out, you're just going to leave? You're not going to kill me? Lucas replied, it was a misunderstanding. Why would I kill you? Tang said, someone wants you dead. Even if you spare me, they'll send more assassins. Lucas replied calmly, I've already let you go. What happens next is up to you. Then he asked, one more thing. Security in my mansion is strict. No one can enter easily. Who helped you get inside? Tang answered, the butler of your mansion. Later, Lucas returned home and had the butler tied up. Crying, the butler said, people from the Inspection Institute came to kill you. I didn't want anyone else in the family to get hurt, so I let you go outside. Everything I did for this family. Grandma said coldly, oh? So everything you did was for the Feng family? The butler continued, I was following orders from your father's second wife. If Lucas reaches the capital, he'll fight for the inheritance. He's talented. He might even take everything. That's why it was better to eliminate him. Grandma stood up and said, Lucas, your biggest flaw is that you're too soft-hearted. Lucas said, Grandma, do you believe him? Grandma replied, Lucas, you've grown up, but you still haven't learned one thing, how to be ruthless. The butler said, she's right. Lucas should be killed. Only then will everyone be safe. Grandma said coldly, break his legs, put him on a small boat and send him out to sea. He'll never reach the shore. He'll die there slowly. While the butler begged, Grandma, please don't do this. I did everything for the family. I know you don't like Lucas either. You're just pretending, Grandma asked. Lucas, what are you going to do now? Lucas replied, the second lady has already sent people to kill me. When I reach the capital, I'll remember everything she's done, and I'll repay her properly. Grandma said, I'll send a letter to your father and ask him to investigate this matter. Lucas shook his head. No, Grandma. Father won't be able to do anything. If something has to be done, I'll do it myself. Grandma looked at him seriously. Does that mean you're going to the capital? You could spend your whole life here in Tenju. You'd be safe, and you could live peacefully. Lucas replied, I've grown up now. I can't just stay at home forever. I need to explore the world. Besides, they've already started sending assassins. Today was just the first. More will definitely come. And the butler wasn't entirely wrong. I can't let the whole family suffer because of me. Grandma asked, are you sure about this? Lucas said firmly, yes. No matter what happens, I'm going to the capital. Grandma sighed, there are many problems within your family. There are also many things your mother left unfinished. You'll have to take care of them. Then she asked, when are you leaving? Lucas replied, tomorrow morning. Grandma said softly, then don't come to see me tomorrow. I'm too old to say goodbye again. The last time I said goodbye to your mother, I still regret it. I don't want to go through that again. Later, Lucas went to Tang. Tang said, Lucas, I need a favor. Lucas replied, what is it? Tang said, kill me. Shocked, Lucas said, what? Kill you? Or do you mean I should pretend to kill you so you can hide your identity and live a normal life? Tang nodded. You're right. I still have important things to do. Lucas asked, and what benefit do I get from helping you? Tang replied, don't you want to know how the second lady manipulated things and sent me after you? Lucas said, stop speaking in riddles. Be clear. Tang explained, everyone will believe I'm dead, but in reality I'll investigate this matter. That way we can uncover what's really happening inside your family. Lucas thought for a moment and said, that's not a bad idea. All right, we'll work together. The scene shifts. Lucas went to Uncle Wuju and said, Uncle Wuju, I'm going to the capital. Uncle Wuju replied calmly, all right, you can go. Lucas said, since I was a child, you've always protected me, but I've never seen you do anything for yourself. Don't you have any desires? Anyone you care about? Any plans for your own life? It sounds like you no longer need me. Lucas quickly said, no, that's not what I meant. I'll always need you. You're the closest family I have. If you're not with me, what will I do? Uncle Wuju asked, then why are you asking me these things? Lucas said, tomorrow I'll leave for the capital. I'll find out who wants to kill me and who killed my mother. But more importantly, I want you to live your own life too. I've never seen you live for yourself. Uncle Wuju remained silent. As Lucas turned to leave, he said, all right then, Uncle, I'm going. After a pause, Uncle Wuju murmured, "There is something I want to do for myself." Later, Lucas was packing his things when Uncle Wuju came to him. He said, "Lucas, I've realized what I want to do for myself." Then he handed Lucas an iron box. "This is the last thing your mother left with me. I want you to open it. What you said earlier, your mother once told me the same thing. She also wanted me to live for myself." Lucas said, "My mother left this for me, but how do I open it?" Uncle Wuju replied, "It's simple. You need a key." Lucas said, "Then give me the key." Uncle Wuju shook his head. "I don't have it." Lucas said, "Then use your strength and break it." Uncle Wuju used his full power and struck the box repeatedly. The table beneath it cracked, but the box remained completely intact. Lucas said in amazement, "Even your attacks couldn't break it." Then he asked, "Where is the key?" Uncle Wuju replied, "It's probably in the capital. That's one of the reasons I'm going with you." Lucas smiled. "Then we'll go together tomorrow." Uncle Wuju said, "I'll leave first. We'll meet in the capital." Lucas asked, "What should I do with this box?" Uncle Wuju replied, "That's up to you." Lucas thought, "What is this box made of? Even Uncle Wuju couldn't break it. Whatever is inside must be extremely dangerous." The next day, the red-clothed guards were ready, and Lucas stepped out of his home. Grandma said to herself, "This child has too many questions, and none of us can answer them. He must go to the capital." Just then, Lucas appeared. Grandma said, "Didn't I tell you not to come see me off?" Lucas walked up and gently kissed her forehead. She said, "Lucas, what are you doing?" Lucas smiled softly. "Take care of yourself. Once I learn the truth, I'll come back for you, and then we'll live together in the capital, just like we did here." He bowed respectfully. Grandma said, "All right, you can go now." Lucas then walked toward the red-clothed guards and said, "I'm coming to the capital." As they were leaving, Gwen tearfully said, "Master, please take care of yourself." Lucas replied, "Don't worry, everything will be fine." Tang then said, "It seems your maid cares about you a lot. Why don't you take her with you?" Lucas answered, "I don't know anything about the capital. If I take Gwen with me and she gets into danger, I'll never forgive myself." He thought to himself, "Gwen, Grandma, I'll come back for you both, but at the right time." That evening, the caravan stopped. The red guards said, "We should stop here and have some food." Lucas asked Tang, "Why are you always following me around? Are you trying to act like a servant?" After eating, Lucas asked, "Do you know why my father is calling me to the capital?" Tang replied, "Isn't it obvious? To prepare you for the future." Lucas said, "It's just the two of us here. Why are you hiding things?" Tang smirked and said, "Young master, you're really bad at this." Lucas frowned. "Who's joking here?" Tang coughed lightly and said, "As far as I know, your father has arranged your marriage. You're being called to the capital for that." Lucas was shocked. "Marriage? With whom?" Tang replied, "With the daughter of Lin Rufu, the current prime minister." Lucas was stunned. "The prime minister's daughter wants to marry me? That's strange," Tang explained. "The Lin family has a great reputation in the capital. But the girl is seriously ill, and her family wants her to marry quickly." Lucas said, "Now I understand why they want this marriage." Tang added, "She might not even live for many years. Doesn't that make you angry?" Lucas calmly replied, "There's nothing to be angry about. I actually feel bad for her. Just because she's sick, she has to marry someone she's never even met." Hearing this, Tang fell silent. Lucas said, "What's wrong? Why aren't you saying anything?" Tang smiled, "Nothing. You're just different today." Lucas continued, "First of all, going to the capital doesn't mean I'll accept this marriage. Second, if I do accept it, I don't dislike the idea. Third, even if she's sick, I won't treat this marriage lightly. And lastly, you might not know this, but I'm not just good with poison, I'm also an excellent doctor." Tang said, "If that's the case, try healing her. Even the imperial doctors couldn't cure her. Let's see what you can do." Lucas replied, "If you're acting like a servant, at least act properly." He then thought, "Let's see, I wonder what she looks like." 2 months later, their caravan reached the city gates. The driver said, "Young master, the capital is right ahead." Looking at it, Lucas said, "This is incredible." Tang asked, "What's wrong with you?" Lucas replied, "Nothing. I never imagined it would be like this." Tang said, "You're right. Compared to Tenju, this place is completely different." Lucas thought, "This world is getting more interesting." Meanwhile, a spy reported to the second lady. The assassination failed. The boy Lucas has arrived in the capital. The second lady smirked. "I didn't expect him to be this interesting. Let's see what happens next." Soon Lucas arrived outside a huge mansion. He said, "This place is enormous." A maid told him, "Our lord is not here right now. You'll have to wait until he returns." Before leaving, he instructed us to take good care of you. If you need anything, just call us. Lucas replied, "All right." He thought, "It seems my father is quite interested in me." As they walked inside, Lucas observed, "The capital is incredibly expensive. Every inch of land here is valuable. And yet, this mansion is massive. My father must hold an extraordinary position." However, as he walked further, he noticed something strange. The maids looked frightened and avoided him. Lucas thought, "Everyone I've passed by is avoiding me. Is it because I'm my father's illegitimate child? It doesn't matter to me. If anyone should feel ashamed, it's my father, not me." A maid said, "Young master, after washing your hands, you need to meet the second lady." Lucas replied, "All right, I'll be there." As he washed his face, one of the maids looked shocked. Another maid said, "Young master, please follow me. I'll take you to the second lady." Lucas thought, now I understand. The capital is nothing like Tenju. Just being polite to maids surprises them, and with that Lucas stepped forward to meet the second lady. The maid said, "Young master, please wait here for a moment." After saying this, she went inside the main hall. Lucas thought, she didn't take me inside the hall, she made me wait outside instead. So Lucas waited. A lot of time passed. He thought, they're making me wait on purpose to show that I'm just my father's illegitimate child. If they want to play games, I'm a better player than them. Then Lucas calmly brought a chair and sat down. The maids started whispering, "Look at that young master. He's quite arrogant. He's sitting on a chair right in front of the second lady's hall." Lucas said casually, "This chair is quite comfortable." Another maid said, "In our family there's a rule. Before the elders arrive, the younger generation must stand properly with their hands folded. If the second lady sees this, she'll be very angry." Just then, the second lady, Ryu, arrived. Walking toward Lucas, she said, "If you were tired, you could have rested a bit." Lucas looked at her calmly, then smiled and said, "Hello, aunt." Soon they both went inside the hall. Ryu asked, "How is the old lady in Tenju?" Lucas replied, "She's doing well. A few days ago, an assassin came to my house, but fortunately everyone survived. Other than that, everything is fine. Thank you for your concern." Ryu thought, this boy is definitely not a fool. Lucas added, "I've also been doing quite well lately." He thought, she looks very annoyed just seeing me. To her, I'm someone who shouldn't even exist. Ryu then said, "Your father works in the Household Affairs Department. Now that you've come to the capital, would you like to prepare for the Imperial examination, or will you directly ask for a position?" Lucas replied, "I'll do whatever father decides. I don't know much about the family affairs yet, so I can't say anything for now." "By the way, when will father return?" Ryu said. "He will return soon." After that, there was a brief silence and tea was being prepared. Suddenly, someone came running. The maid said, "Young miss, please don't run, you might fall." The door opened and Roya rushed in, saying, "Brother, you're here." She stepped forward and said, "Let me greet my elder brother." Lucas said, "Roya, there's no need to be so formal." Just then, a chubby boy entered. His name was Feng Cijie. Cijie said, "Are you Lucas?" Lucas asked Roya, "Who is this boy?" Before she could answer, Cijie said, "My name is Feng Cijie. I'm the young master of the Feng family." "So you're that bastard child, the biggest mistake father ever made." At that moment, the second lady quietly left. Lucas thought, I understand now. She sent this kid to humiliate me. CJ continued mocking, "You look so thin and weak. Honestly, you really are a disgrace." Lucas thought, for the sake of the Feng family, I might have to teach this kid a lesson. Otherwise, he'll ruin everything. Just then, Roya took out a stick. She said, "Put your hands out." CJ got scared. "Sister, what are you doing?" Roya said firmly. "I said, put your hands out." CJ reluctantly obeyed and she hit his hand with the stick. He cried, "Sister, why are you hitting me because of an outsider?" Roya struck him again and said, "Your first mistake. You addressed your elder brother by name. Second, you need to remember which family you belong to and how to behave with your elders. If you trouble him again, your punishment will be worse." Then she asked, "Brother, I'm right, aren't I?" Lucas replied, "Yes, you are." CJ ran away crying. Roya sighed. Whenever he cries, he runs straight to his mother. Lucas asked, "Is he always like this?" Roya said, "He's completely spoiled. There's nothing we can do about it now." Lucas thought, why do I have such a useless younger brother? Then he asked, "Roya, tell me something. How were you able to punish a young master like that?" Roya replied, "Father gave me the authority." Lucas said, "Things here are quite different from what I expected." Roya asked, "Are you talking about household matters?" Lucas replied, "I'm talking about the distribution of power within the family." Roya said, "I do hold quite a bit of authority in this family." Lucas responded, "But your authority ultimately depends on one person." Roya said, "The person you're referring to is our father." They both fell silent for a moment, then smiled. Roya said, "We've been exchanging letters regularly, but it's been a long time since we've sat and talked like this." Lucas replied, "I'm really glad to see you doing well. Otherwise, I used to worry a lot about how you were managing in the capital." Roya said, "Thank you for your advice, brother. Without it, the family wouldn't be this peaceful." Lucas thought, I used to tell her stories from dramas I had seen. Looks like they really helped. Then he said, "Even though I was far away in Tenju, I knew one thing. The second lady, Ryu, holds a very powerful position in the family. No matter what happens, don't get on her bad side." Roya nodded. "All right, brother." Lucas asked, "Did you receive my last letter?" Roya replied, "Yes, I did. But the person who delivered it was dressed in black. I was quite scared at first. I thought he might be dangerous." Lucas said, "You probably don't know the real reason why I came to the capital." Roya replied, "I know." Lucas looked surprised. "You know?" Roya said, "Not just me. Everyone in the family knows." Lucas replied in surprise, Everyone knows except me. I always thought my arrival here was a secret, something only father knew about. Roya explained. All the famous families in the capital are very curious about you. Lucas said, but very few people in the capital even know about me, so why are they so curious? Roya answered, because the girl you're going to marry is very famous. Lucas nodded. Yeah, you're right. The one I'm supposed to marry is the Prime Minister's daughter. This isn't a small matter. Roya added, not just that, she's also seriously ill. The narrator explains that for the past 10 years, the kingdom has been relatively stable. The current ruler is considered one of the wisest in history. However, the bureaucracy is deeply corrupt. Nothing gets done without bribery. The prime minister is especially cunning. When Lin Rufu, the prime minister, was born, he was poor and didn't belong to any noble family. But through intelligence and strategy, he rose to a very high position within a few years. On the surface, he appears to be a good man, but that's far from the truth. Lucas said, so according to you, Miss Lin is an illegitimate daughter, and also the prime minister's weakness? Roya replied, yes. It's strange, but news about her being his illegitimate daughter had already spread earlier. Lucas asked, already? Is he the one who sits on the dragon throne? Roya explained, after that news spread, people thought the prime minister had angered the king, and that's why the truth was revealed. But later, the emperor himself stepped in and suppressed the matter, silencing everyone. But your reaction is unexpected. Even after knowing she's illegitimate, you're not angry at all. Lucas said calmly, I'm not going to show my weakness by reacting emotionally. I just want to ask him why he's arranging my marriage with someone like her. Just then, someone announced from outside, the Lord has arrived. As Lucas stood up, he said, Roya, we'll talk later. For now, I need to meet him. Roya nodded. All right, brother. Outside, Lucas met his father, Count Sinan. A servant introduced him. My lord, this is the young master. The count said, follow me. They walked into a study room. The count looked at him and said, you really do resemble your mother. Lucas replied, yes, I do. The count asked, how has your life been in Tenju? Lucas answered, it was going well, until I was attacked by an assassin. The count said, you must already know why you were called here. Do you feel like you've been treated unfairly? Lucas replied firmly, no, you're mistaken. I may have come to the capital, but I never agreed to marry Miss Lin. The count asked, do you understand what this marriage means for our family? Lucas said, I'm not foolish. You want favor. That's why you're doing all this. The count chuckled. It's good that you're finally showing some anger. Lucas frowned. What do you mean? The count said, I admit we've never met before, but I've always kept track of you. From what I heard, you seemed like someone who never gets angry. But you're only 16. You shouldn't suppress your emotions like that. It only leads to endless pain. Lucas replied, Father, let me say this clearly. You can try all you want, but you won't be able to control my life. The count responded calmly, I have no interest in controlling your life. I simply want you to marry the prime minister's daughter. It will greatly strengthen our family's status and benefit everyone. Lucas said firmly, I won't do it just because you say so. And if you think I'm lying, you can try forcing me. There was a brief silence. The count sighed, why don't you understand? Miss Lin is a good girl. She would be perfect for you. This isn't about Lin Rufu. We're doing this for your sake. Lucas thought, he doesn't seem like he's lying. The count continued, do you really think I would use my own child just to maintain my status? Lucas replied, if that's not the case, then why are you forcing me into this marriage? The count finally said, it seems I'll have to tell you everything. Miss Lin's mother is none other than the eldest princess, the emperor's younger sister. The eldest princess never married, but she manages all royal business. She has contributed enormous wealth to the nation and still controls vast resources. Now do you understand why I'm insisting on this marriage? Lucas thought. I see. The prime minister must have had an affair with the eldest princess. That's probably how he rose to power. He's truly cunning. The count added, the eldest princess has only one daughter, and since the emperor has no interest in royal business, whoever marries her daughter will essentially gain control over all royal assets. Lucas asked, the business she manages, wasn't it once part of our family? The count nodded. You're right. That entire royal business originally belonged to your mother. What you'd be doing is reclaiming what was once yours. Lucas said, Father, I understand your intentions now. I know you're not acting with bad intentions, but do you really believe I can reclaim my mother's business through this method? The count replied confidently, if I'm telling you all this, it means I already have plans in place. Don't forget, your father is also a treasury official. I know very well how to handle money. However, that sly Lin Rufu has doubts about this marriage. That's why I expect you to prove your worth to everyone. Lucas then asked, everything else makes sense? But why is Lin Rufu so reluctant about this marriage? The count said, the Feng family is one of the most powerful families in the capital. Lin Rufu, on the other hand, lead the bureaucrats. If a marriage happens between our two families, it would benefit both sides greatly. However, I'm still worried because the emperor might become suspicious of my intentions. Lucas replied, I understand. What you're saying is that we haven't agreed to this marriage yet. It's just a one-sided idea from the Feng family. The count frowned. What do you mean by that? Then he added seriously, remember this, no one must know about what we discussed today. If you're aware of royal secrets, you must keep your mouth shut. Otherwise, you'll die for nothing. Lucas said calmly, Don't worry, I've survived since childhood without making mistakes, and I value my life too much to act carelessly. After that, Lucas returned to his room. He thought, after today's conversation, it feels like my father genuinely cares about me. Then he sighed inwardly, but I'll think about all this later. Right now, am I really going to marry a girl who is seriously ill? Why do I feel like I'd be deceiving her? That's just wrong. Her life is already tragic. His thoughts shifted, and this strange box, where is its key? I learned so much today that I can't even sleep. I'm completely restless. Meanwhile, the Count was deep in thought. Kinmei, your son has turned out just like you, smart and confident even at such a young age. Shenping was against bringing Lucas here, but while he was away on vacation, I summoned Lucas anyway. Someone has assured me that no matter what happens, the family property will return to him, and it rightfully should. Everything his mother earned belongs to him, and I don't need to worry. There's no one in this entire country who can kill Lucas. The next day, Roya handed Lucas something to eat and said, "Brother, try this." As he tasted it, Lucas said, "Why is this so sour?" CJ, watching them, thought, "What's going on? My sister is famous for being cold and distant in front of others, but with Lucas she's acting so friendly. Does he have some kind of power that changed her?" CJ said, "I only brought you along to show you around the city for my sister's sake." Lucas replied, "Kid, why are you even following us?" CJ snapped, "I'm not a kid. I'm the most outstanding young master of the Feng family." Lucas smirked. "Then why do you look so nervous? Are you afraid that I'll take all your family's property and leave you with nothing?" CJ immediately complained, "Sister, he's bullying me again. Why aren't you saying anything?" Roya calmly said, "What he said isn't wrong." As they walked ahead, CJ suddenly said, "I smell something delicious. There must be a restaurant nearby. Let's go check it out." A guard pointed, "Young master, there's a restaurant right ahead. You can eat there comfortably." CJ ran ahead excitedly. "I'm starving." At that moment, an old woman approached Lucas and said, "Young man, you look quite smart. Would you like to buy some books? These haven't even been published yet. They're fresh copies." Lucas asked curiously, "Are they Japanese, Western, or some new type of manhwa?" The old woman didn't understand his words and simply said, "This novel is already very popular in the capital. Buy it before it sells out. It's excellent." Lucas glanced at the title and was shocked. The name Magic Emperor. This is the same story I told Roya in my childhood. How did it appear here? He immediately opened the book and started reading. The old woman smiled. "Young master, this is just the beginning. The more you read, the more you'll enjoy it. It's truly amazing." Lucas paid her and bought the book. Roya asked, "Brother, what were you doing outside?" CJ added, "I saw from the window. He bought a book." Roya said, "You bought a book?" Lucas asked, "Roya, do you remember the story I told you when we were kids, Magic Emperor?" Roya nodded. "Yes, I remember." Lucas showed her the book. As she read, she said in shock, "Brother, I'm reading this for the first time. But who copied this?" Lucas said calmly, "Relax, I'm not blaming you." He thought, "I only told her those stories so she could impress her friends. I never imagined they'd be published and sold like this." Roya said, "Maybe Princess Rogia copied it. She visited me once and saw the book you had written for me, but I never thought she would publish it, and that it would become so popular across the capital." Lucas thought, first it reached the palace, then spread everywhere. Someone must have deliberately pushed this. CJ suddenly asked, "You wrote this book?" Lucas replied, "Yes. Is there a problem?" Excited, CJ said, "So Magic Emperor was written by you?" Lucas smirked, "Looks like you've read it." CJ quickly denied, "No, not really. I just skimmed through it, but it was really good." Lucas teased, "Just skimmed, or actually read it properly?" CJ said, "The poems were amazing. That's why I looked at it." Lucas laughed, "Judging by your reaction, it seems you're finally acknowledging me as your elder brother." CJ replied, "If you write books like this, you can earn a lot of money. Now I understand why my sister admires you so much." Lucas said with a faint smile, "So you think she admires me because I can make money, not because my writing is actually good?" CJ said, "We can sell this book in volumes. Each volume can earn us 8 taels. And since you're the only one who knows what happens next in the story, we can make a lot of money by continuing it. If you're willing to write, I'll support you." Lucas thought, there are many differences between me and CJ. We don't really get along, and I don't know anything about the Feng family's business, nor am I interested. My own family's business is powerful enough that I could even be considered their rival. Still, we are brothers. If I get along with this kid in the future, it might save us from a lot of trouble. Let's see what he's capable of. Lucas said, "You still haven't told me why you came with me." CJ replied, "My mom told me that my big brother is very capable. If I stay with you, it'll be good for my future." Lucas thought, he's acting obedient, but only for money. He's quite cunning. Excited, CJ said, "Let's work together and make a lot of money. It'll be fun." Soon they started eating. Roya said angrily, "Whoever published this book is a complete jerk. The story you told me was amazing, but to attract readers, they added inappropriate images, especially on the front page. That's completely unacceptable." Lucas replied calmly, "There's nothing we can do about it. That's how marketing works. Before buying a book, people check what it's about. You're upset because they filled the cover with girls and made it look like a romance story, right? But it's not a romance, it's actually an action drama. Roya nodded. Exactly. They even added ridiculous words that ruin the story. What frustrates me most is that I can't do anything about it. Lucas said, relax. Booksellers have to do this to sell their books. Then he added thoughtfully, this book has 10 volumes. I'll write more chapters and have them printed. I'll give each chapter an attractive title so people can't resist reading it. For example, chapter 23 could be called The Romance of the Western Chamber. People will think it contains something exciting, but in reality, the story will stay true to its plot. Also, instead of writing sensitive words in black ink, we'll highlight them in red so they grab attention immediately. Roya blushed slightly. Brother, it feels like you've changed a lot since childhood. Lucas smiled. Not really. I've just practiced a lot, so I've gained experience in these things. CG said excitedly. Big brother, my mom was right. You're really capable. When she read the book, she said the story wasn't presented properly, but if you rewrite it, it'll become amazing. Lucas thought, this kid is foolish. His mother, the second lady, must have sent him to spy on me, but instead of spying, he's trying to team up with me. At another table, a group of scholars were talking. One of them said, where did this boy come from? He looks ordinary, yet he claims to be talented. CJ snapped, I'm the son of the Feng family. No one has ever dared to speak to me like that. Who do you think you are, you lowly scholars, to insult me? Lucas thought, we're sitting on the 3rd floor of this restaurant. Everyone here must have similar status. If someone provokes others here, it means they want to show their power. CG said, big brother, stay here. I'll go teach him a lesson. Lucas replied, calm down. There's no need for that. But Roya said, let him go. He'll put on quite a show. CJ walked over to the scholars and pointed at one of them. You're the one who was talking nonsense, right? The scholar replied calmly, so what if I was? What can you do about it? Magic Emperor is an excellent book. People who don't understand it are the ones speaking nonsense. Roya whispered, brother, he's actually praising your work. Lucas smiled, yes, hearing that makes me happy. But CJ, misunderstanding the situation, rushed forward angrily. You can't say anything bad about my brother. He grabbed the scholar's ribbon, causing his hair to come loose. The scholar shouted, are you crazy? I just washed my hair this morning and you ruined it. I still had to apply conditioner. Now I'll have to go home again. CJ said angrily, you should have thought about that before insulting me. Just as CJ was about to punch him, someone grabbed his hand. CJ shouted, let go! How dare you touch me? The man behind him said coldly, throw this brat out. He's ruining our mood. A guard lifted CJ and threw him aside. CJ thought, I'm going to get seriously hurt. But suddenly, Lucas stepped forward and caught him mid-air. Lucas said calmly, you insulted us first. Then when my younger brother came to talk, you attacked him without any regard. One of the men looked at Roya and said, isn't that Miss Feng, the most talented woman in the capital? Another added, and this boy, could he be the Feng family's young master? Someone else muttered, no wonder he's so arrogant. He's Count Sinan's son. Lucas looked at them and said, tell me, who are you? The man replied, his name is Guo Baokun. His father works in the palace. Guo Baokun said coldly, just because you belong to the Feng family, you look down on others. That's unacceptable for ordinary people like us. Lucas said, so you're saying that we're not gentlemen? The one who attacked you from our side is just a 12-year-old child who hasn't even entered college yet. So his foolishness is understandable. But you, even after becoming a scholar, are acting foolishly. What should I call you then? Someone even more foolish than a 12-year-old. One of the men angrily replied, your Feng family has quite some nerve to speak so arrogantly in front of scholars. Lucas said calmly, I'm not defending myself. You were sitting here with other noble families' children, enjoying yourselves. But you got so intoxicated by power that you forgot your limits and started bullying others for no reason. And now that someone has shown you your place, you feel offended. Remember this. Scholars here are often treated like tools. The emperor uses them and then throws them aside, leaving them with nothing. Hearing this, Guo became furious and ordered his guard to attack. The guard rushed forward and threw a punch at Lucas, but Lucas easily dodged it, deflected his arm, and delivered a powerful punch straight to his face. The guard was sent flying out of the window. Everyone present was shocked after witnessing Lucas's strength. Guo said angrily, you can't use your power to bully others. As Lucas and the others began to leave, the scholars murmured among themselves, wondering who he was. Despite coming from a wealthy family, he was incredibly powerful, unlike most rich kids, who were usually useless. The Feng family's reputation seemed truly impressive. Hearing people praise Lucas, CJ felt extremely proud. At that moment, Prince Nan-King Ling arrived. The prince said, Sister Roya is out today? That's quite rare. Seeing her outside is unusual. Roya, surprised, said, Your Highness, you're here. Wuxi then introduced Lucas. Brother, this is the prince. Our Feng family and the prince's palace have had a good relationship for generations. We've cooperated for centuries. Your Highness, this is the brother I often talk about. The prince said, I just heard there was some trouble on the 3rd floor involving a few scholars. Guo quickly stepped forward and said, "Your Highness, that's correct. These people caused a lot of trouble for us. Please give us justice." The prince replied coldly, "I'm currently speaking with some close friends. It would be inappropriate for you to interrupt. I hope you understand." Hearing this, Guo became frightened and hurriedly left. The prince then said, "I was simply curious, so I asked." Lucas replied, "Anyone can write, and most people here are scholars who can create decent stories. But I have something others don't: true talent." The prince asked, "What do you mean?" Lucas said, "In the past, people with real ability were called talented. But nowadays, if someone attends a banquet and makes a few connections, they're labeled talented. In my opinion, that means nothing. Most so-called talented people today have no real intellect. They're scholars only in name, wasting their money in brothels while all their brains are left with the women there." Hearing this, many of the scholars felt offended. The prince smiled and said, "You're absolutely right, brother. You're a very interesting person. If you ever have time, come visit me. We can sit and talk. It would be quite enjoyable." After that, Lucas and the others left the restaurant. Outside, they saw Guo waiting for them. Annoyed, CJ said, "Why are you still here? Didn't you leave yet?" Lucas asked, "What is it now? Why are you standing here?" Guo bowed and said, "Please forgive me. I always believed I was powerful and didn't need to bow to anyone. But now I understand that in front of someone stronger, one must bow. My pride blinded me, and I ended up offending you. It's been weighing on my mind ever since. If possible, please forgive me." Lucas thought, because of the crown prince's involvement, this man is truly frightened. And he should be. His family's power could be taken away at any moment. Lucas stepped forward and said, "It's fine. Everyone makes mistakes in life. You've learned your lesson, and you won't face trouble because of this anymore. And honestly, I also said some unnecessary things today, so don't take my words to heart." Guo thought, what kind of person is he? He not only forgave me, but even told me not to feel bad about it. Truly impressive. As they walked ahead, Roya suddenly started laughing. Lucas asked, "Roya, why are you laughing? Did you think of something funny?" Roya replied, "No, it's just, I was thinking about Guo. At first, he was so arrogant, but later he spoke like a completely different person. Your words were truly amazing, brother." Lucas said, "Really? What did I say that was so impressive?" CJ jumped in. "When you said those things earlier, it was incredible." Both Lucas and Roya stared at him. CJ thought, "Did I say something wrong?" Roya said, "You said that scholars were like fans, used and then thrown away." Lucas sighed, "I was just angry at that moment. You know I'm usually calm, but I can't stand watching my younger brother get beaten by someone else." Roya said, "You didn't do anything wrong. Those scholars provoked us, and you defeated 3 of them alone. That's impressive. Everything you said today was remarkable." Lucas replied, "Don't call it talent. I don't like that word." He added, "If you want to move forward in life, choose to stand with someone wise." Roya said, "Brother, what are you talking about all of a sudden?" Meanwhile, CG thought, "They've completely forgotten about me." Soon, they reached their carriage. After Roya and CG got inside, Lucas said, "You two go home. I'll come later." CG protested, "I wanted to go shopping with you." Roya said, "We should listen to brother. He told us to go home, so let's go." The carriage began to move, while CG kept complaining, "Sister, I wanted to go too." Suddenly, the sound of him getting hit could be heard. Lucas thought, everything that happened today was because of CG. This street was full of restaurants, and Roya even suggested going somewhere else. But CJ dragged us here. The scholars were indirectly praising me, and Roya didn't mind that. But CJ picked a fight for no reason and even attacked them despite being warned. His real intention was to show my bad side in front of the prince, to make him believe that I'm a worthless person. Since the Feng family and the prince's mansion have a long-standing relationship, the prince's influence is crucial in controlling the family's business. But there's one problem. A 12-year-old child couldn't have planned something this elaborate. We then see Tang, who asks, "Lucas, what are you thinking? If I may give my opinion, maybe everything that happened wasn't done by the young master. It might have all happened naturally." Lucas replied, "Yes, it's possible that CJ didn't do anything and everything just happened on its own." Tang said, "I thought you were suspecting the young master, so I said that." Lucas responded, "But you have to admit one thing. CJ is clearly following me on his mother's orders. Why should he even wanted to keep following me just now? The real problem lies with his mother. Everything was running smoothly for everyone, but ever since I showed up, many people have started facing trouble." Tang nodded and said, "You're right. This all seems like Lady Lu's plan." Lucas added, "But there are still many strange things. Liu is a very intelligent woman. How could she trust that foolish child enough to send him after me? Something doesn't add up. Anyway, Tang, why did you come to see me? Did you find anything about the assassination case?" Hum said seriously, "Listen carefully. Right now, I don't have any clues." Lucas thought, "If you don't have any clues, then why did you come here?" The scene then shifts to the prince, who was sitting calmly and drinking. The prince said, "I really like literature, and I enjoy talking to people who understand it. But from what I can see, none of the people you've recruited seem particularly talented." Another man replied, "Na Hengwei is a student of Jiang News and a university scholar. He will definitely rank in the top 3 in next year's imperial examination. The prince said, Na Hengwei may be talented, but I don't like his character. The man added, Guo Baokun is also not a good candidate. He only relies on his father's power. Although he has a good relationship with his elder brother, he can't achieve anything on his own. The prince said, people like him with weak abilities find it very hard to survive in noble circles. If not today, then someday he will fall. But if I talk about Lucas, who has just arrived in the capital, I find him quite interesting. Another man said, after today, everyone in the capital will know that the Feng family has a handsome and intelligent young master. The prince smiled and said, let's stop talking about this. I'm just waiting for the day when you and Jing are appointed as ministers, and I become the emperor. Then we'll govern the country together. Honestly, being emperor sounds quite enjoyable. Let's celebrate that future with a good drink today. The scene shifts again to Tang, who was suddenly punched by Lucas. Lucas said, if you had nothing, then why did you come all the way here to find me? What am I supposed to do now? Say something. Tang dropped to his knees and said, it's extremely difficult to obtain those files. To get even one case file, I would have to risk my life. Lucas replied, risk your life just for a file? That doesn't sound normal. What exactly is the problem? Tang explained, I joined the inspection department because they helped me a lot in the past. They even saved my life. As an official, whenever we see something wrong, we're supposed to stop it. Once I saw Guo Baokun harassing a woman on the street, so I saved her. But the Guo family is extremely vicious. They trapped me and forced me to kill a member of the imperial court. After that, they even tried to wipe out my entire family. At that time, the inspection department saved my family. In return, they only told me to work for them properly. Then I was given the mission to assassinate you, but I failed and returned to the capital. Since then, I haven't been able to contact my family. Lucas asked, what do you mean? Did the inspection department hide your family? Umbi replied, all the clues must be inside the case files. If you help me get them, I'll give my life for you without hesitation. Lucas helped him stand up and said, all right, I'll help you. Later, Lucas arrives at the inspection agency. He thought, Tang is such a fool. He believes the agency saved his family, but in reality, they're using his family to control him. They've turned an ordinary man into an assassin. It's extremely dangerous. Or everything started when he beat Guo Baokun. Now, I need to see what's really going on inside this place. As he entered, 2 men passed by, staring at him suspiciously. Inside, Lux noticed a dead body and thought, everyone here is looking at me strangely. Something is definitely wrong. He said aloud, why are all of you staring at me instead of doing your work? One of the men replied, in a place where no outsider has ever entered, if an outsider suddenly walks in, how do you think we would react? Lucas said, but this inspection agency is right at the street gate. It's a government office, isn't it? If people have problems, they should be able to come here. What's the issue? The man laughed and said, our agency doesn't deal with ordinary people. We handle official affairs only. We have nothing to do with common business. And as for the people in the capital, why would they come to us? There's nothing about them that we don't already know. Lucas replied, I see. So outsiders aren't allowed to enter. But I'm not an outsider. I'm one of you. As he said this, Lucas took out the token given to him by Master Fei. This is my first time visiting, so I was a bit confused. The man, now nervous, said, you have a commander-level badge. May I ask who you are? Lucas said, I am Master Fei's disciple. But the moment he said that, he noticed that the man standing in front of him had suddenly disappeared. The man was now standing far away and said, now I understand, you are Master Fei's disciple. Lucas frowned and said, you were just standing here. Why did you suddenly move so far away? The man replied, being Master Fei's disciple means you're a poison master. For ordinary people like us, standing too close to a poison master can be very dangerous. That's why I stepped back. Lucas said calmly, that doesn't matter to me. Can you take me to Master Fei? The man replied, I'm sorry, your luck is quite bad. Master Fei isn't here right now. He has gone to the border for inspection. As he hurried away, he added, if you need anything, you can come back later. When Master Fei returns, I'll personally inform you. Lucas stopped him and said, wait a second. I have one more thing to ask. Can you help me? The man quickly replied, of course, master. Just tell me what you need. Soon they entered the records room. The man said, you want to check some files. Since you're Master Fei's disciple, that's not a problem. The person whose file you're asking for is Tang Zijing. Lucas said, impressive, you remembered the name after hearing it just once. The man asked, young master, why do you want this file? Lucas replied casually, you should already know. I'm the one who killed Tang Zijing. The man hesitated and said, there are thousands of files here. Finding his file will take a lot of time. How about I search for it and deliver it to your residence later? Lucas thought, this man is lying. There are thousands of files here, yet the moment I mentioned Tang Zijing's name, he immediately recognized it. And now he's pretending he doesn't know where the file is? The moment he learned who I was, his attitude completely changed. Someone this sharp wouldn't struggle to find a file. He's clearly hiding something. Lucas said coldly, I understand now. There's something you're afraid of, and you think I might report it. But remember this, I want that file delivered by tomorrow. No delays. He then asked, by the way, what's your name? The man replied, Wan Kinyan. As Lucas walked out, he thought, Master Fei isn't in the capital. I was hoping to ask him for help. I still have time. Maybe I should go meet the Prime Minister's daughter. It could be useful. If I understand her illness, I might even be able to cure it. In this entire world, I'm probably the only one who can heal her. As he stepped outside, Lucas thought, one thing is clear, the inspection agency treats insiders and outsiders very differently. If you belong to them, you're treated well. But if you're an outsider, even leaving this place might not be easy. Suddenly, he noticed a tablet with a name engraved on it. His mother's name, Kin Mei. Shocked, Lucas muttered, my mother's name, on the Overwatch Council? As far as I know, my mother's family was once the richest in the country, so wealthy that even the king couldn't compare. Yet despite all that, she never lived a peaceful life. Uncle Wuju once said that 10 years ago, when our family faced a disaster, all our enemies were wiped out. Since then, no one in the entire country dares to even mention my mother's name. But something doesn't make sense. Uncle Wuju is incredibly powerful, and he protected me all my life. If someone like him was around, then how did my mother die? There must be a connection between her death and the royal family. They definitely know what happened. And how can the Overwatch Council use her name and her family's property so openly? This isn't right. After wandering lost in thought, Lucas sighed, I made a mistake. I got so caught up in thinking that I ended up somewhere unfamiliar. Looking ahead, he said, let me ask someone, where's the way to the Feng Mansion? Just as he was about to enter, a man stopped him and shouted, stop right there. Leave immediately. There are people inside the temple worshipping. Don't disturb them, Lucas said calmly. To be honest, I only came to ask for directions to the Feng Mansion. But your arrogant behavior has annoyed me. Let me take a look. If everything is fine, I'll leave. The man suddenly attacked him, but Lucas easily used his power to throw him back. Both of them then gathered energy in their hands and exchanged powerful punches. The force of the clash pushed Lucas back outside the temple. Pella said, at such a young age, you carry such a dominant attitude. Which family do you belong to? Lucas replied, why does it matter which family I belong to? According to the king's law, anyone can worship in this temple. So why are you stopping me? I'm here to pray as well, Pella said. There are many nobles inside the temple right now. You can pray after they are done. No one will stop you then. With that, he shut the gate. As soon as Pella left, Lucas felt a powerful shock run through his body, and he immediately started coughing up blood. He thought, it's a good thing I didn't use my full strength when I clashed with him. Otherwise, I would have been seriously injured. Whoever is worshipping inside must be someone very important. That's why he stopped me. As he turned to leave, Lucas said, I'm not strong enough to defeat you, so I won't cause trouble. As for the Feng Mansion, I'll find it myself. Just then, Pella reopened the gate and said, young man, our master has permitted you to pray in the side hall. But no matter what happens, do not enter the main hall. Lucas thought, this guy's attitude is really bad. He said aloud, you attacked me for no reason. I already told you. According to the law, everyone has the right to pray. Pella coldly repeated, do not enter the main hall. Did you hear me? Lucas replied, yes, I heard you. I won't go into the main hall. Inside the main hall, a mysterious man stood as Pella approached him. Pella said, as per your orders, I've sent that young man to the side hall. The man replied, interesting, that a young man managed to push you back. Pella said, Master, I can say with confidence that my opponent is very powerful. The man nodded. That's good. It seems our country still has some promising young talents. Meanwhile, Lucas entered the side hall and began to pray. God, my past life was terrible. I spent most of it suffering from illness. I don't want much in this life, just a peaceful life. And if I can have money and beautiful women too, that would be even better. Suddenly, something fell to the ground. Lucas looked around and thought, what was that sound? Did God actually hear my prayer and decide to bless me already? Then he noticed movement under a table. Drawing his knife, he thought, let's see who's pretending to be God here. He lifted the curtain and was stunned. A very beautiful girl was hiding there. Just as Lucas was about to speak, he suddenly started coughing up blood again. The girl asked, what's wrong with you? Lucas waved it off. It's nothing. I'm used to this. The girl smiled softly. Then both of them asked at the same time, who are you? They both fell silent, feeling slightly embarrassed. At that moment, a voice called out from outside, young miss, where are you? The girl quickly replied, I came to the temple to pray. I'm coming back now. As she turned to leave, Lucas asked, will you come here again tomorrow? Without answering, she hurried away. Lucas stepped forward and said, at least tell me your name. The girl suddenly handed him a piece of chicken and ran off. Looking at it, Lucas muttered, she already took a bite? This chicken is really lucky. From a distance, Uncle Wuju had been watching everything. Meanwhile, the girl's carriage departed surrounded by guards. Pella thought, that boy was on my level, and if I had fought seriously, I might have even lost. He defeated an 8th grade fighter effortlessly and even knocked out several Lin family guards in a single move. That boy is incredibly powerful, at least comparable to 5 great master. In the future, we need to be very careful around him. Just then, a voice comes from inside a carriage and says, listen, Pella responds, yes, master. What is it? The master says, if Chen Ping refuses to come, take a team and bring him back by force. Pella replies, understood, master. At the same time, Pella thinks, Chen Ping is a real troublemaker. I wouldn't mind fighting a powerful assassin, but dealing with him is far more difficult. Meanwhile, in another carriage, the same girl was sitting inside. Her maid says, young miss, you seem very happy after returning from the temple. The young lady replies, I'm always happy. What's so special about today? The maid says, but today you look even happier than usual. The young lady smiles and says, taking a walk outside is much better than being locked inside a room. The maid hesitates and says, but the doctor said it's not good for your health to roam outside like this. A wind could worsen your condition. The young lady thinks, she's right. I can't live freely like normal people. I can't even eat the chicken I secretly enjoy. All because of this illness. My life has become miserable. Suddenly, she starts coughing up blood. The maid panics. This is the second time this month. Yaningawidi calmly replies, it's fine. I'm used to it now. The maid thinks her condition is so serious, yet today she still seems unusually happy. The scene shifts to Lucas, who also seems quite happy. The second lady says, it seems Lucas is tired. That's why he isn't eating properly. Roya adds, brother looks confused. He asked us to go home earlier, but then he walked back himself. He must be exhausted. At that moment, the count says, Lucas, focus on your meal, and after dinner we'll play a game. Lucas replies, is that really necessary? The count smiles and says, before you came, our family felt incomplete. Now that you're here, we're whole again, so we should celebrate. Soon they prepare the game. Lucas sets everything up, and CJ eagerly says, brother, show me too. But Lucas gets up and says, I'm tired today. CJ will play in my place. GJ asks, Dad, can I play? The count agrees, and Roya says, this is my first time playing this game with Dad. Just as the count was about to make his move, CJ suddenly says, wait, Dad, I've already won. Roya was shocked. How is that possible? A little later, Lucas returns and sees that CJ has earned a lot of money using the game, while the others have lost quite a bit. Lucas thinks, this kid is calculating everything while playing. When it comes to numbers, he's incredibly sharp, a true genius. The second lady says, your elder brother has returned. Go study now. Roya adds, go study. I'll test you on what you learned today. The count stands up and says, I've played enough. He thinks, I just got beaten by a child and lost so much money. The second lady also leaves to rest. CJ complains, I just started playing and everyone left. Lucas then asks, CJ, you're really good at calculations. What do you want to become in the future? CJ replies, I'm studying hard so I can become an official. Lucas says, stop lying. It's just us here. You can tell the truth. CJ admits, honestly, I want to become a businessman. I really like making money. Roya says, an official's life is much better than a businessman's. There's no benefit in becoming one. But Lucas says, having money in your own hands is real power. I support CJ. He can become a businessman. CJ smiles. Thank you, brother. But father will never agree. Lucas replies, start first. Show your father your talent. Maybe then he'll support you. CJ gets excited and says, then give me the next part of your book. I'll sell it and make a lot of money. Lucas smirks. Are you joking? CJ starts crying. I knew it. People only give advice. No one actually helps. Brother, you're so cruel. Lucas says, so you're trying to provoke me? Fine. If you want me to write, you'll have to do some work and make a proper plan. CJ asks, what's a plan? Roya explains, a plan means thinking ahead about what you're going to do in the future. CJ confidently says, that's easy. I can do it. He grabs the money and leaves happily. Lucas says, everyone's gone. I'm sleepy too, so I'll head off. But Roya stops him and says, brother, why do you look so happy today? Something good must have happened. You seem really tired, so let's talk about it tomorrow. Lucas makes her sit down and says, listen, today I went to a temple, and I met a very cute girl who was eating chicken. Roya asks, then what happened? Lucas tells her the whole story. Roya says, so you're saying you went to pray and found a cute girl hiding under a table, eating chicken. Lucas says, I met that girl in the temple. It must be a sign from God. It's even possible that she might be Miss Lin. Roya replies, brother, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but Miss Lin has a very serious illness. She isn't even allowed to leave her house, so the girl you met cannot be her. Lucas says, yeah, you're right. If someone is that seriously ill and can't even step outside, how could she be in a temple eating chicken? Roya says, alright, I'm going now. You should get some rest too. After Roya leaves, Lucas starts crying. He thinks, my love story ended before it even began. No, I won't let that happen. I'll never let it end like this. Even if I have to break off the engagement, I'll do it. I want that girl no matter what. Just then, CJ walks in and says, brother, who are you talking about? And what do you want? Lucas replies, you could at least knock before coming in. CJ says, brother, you told me to make a plan, and I've done it. My business plan shows we can make huge profits. Lucas says, all right, show me. Let's see how good your plan is. CJ explains, according to my calculations, one book will have 10 chapters, and each book will cost 8 silver taels. We currently have 68 chapters. The capital has around 600,000 people. Even if just 1 out of every 60 people buys the book, we'll earn 38,400 silver taels, which is a huge amount. Lucas says, that's just revenue. You also have to subtract production costs. CJ replies, yes, you're right. I've already calculated that too. Renting a shop on the main street in the capital would be expensive, but the location would be excellent. If I talk to father, we might get it at a lower price. I also know some booksellers who can help sell our books, and the biggest help will come from Wangwan Hall. Lucas asks, Wangwan Hall? What kind of place is that? CJ explains, it's a private printing shop. They have many workers and are very efficient at producing books. They'll print books at a low cost. The best part is they have plenty of money but no strong background, so they won't dare copy our book. Lucas says, I understand, but how can we ensure others won't copy it? CJ replies, if anyone tries to copy it, we'll use the government to deal with them. Lucas says, do you really think the government is just sitting around to listen to the Feng family? According to the law, anyone can copy a book. CJ responds confidently, our family has enough influence to change the rules if needed. We can even personally stop people from buying pirated copies. We have that level of power. Lucas says, are you serious? CJ says, brother, you don't realize how powerful our family is. If we enter the book business, we'll make massive profits. Lucas smiles and says, your tactics are quite ruthless. For profit, you're willing to use officials, the government, and businessmen. No one is spared. But I can say one thing, you'll achieve great success in the future. CJ asks, brother, are you praising me or calling me a bad person? Lucas says, people in the capital may be wealthy, but how many can actually afford your book? CJ replies, you're underestimating your own work. You've written an amazing book. Many noble ladies in the capital are already waiting for its release. As soon as it's out, people will rush to buy it. Selling a few thousand copies won't be difficult since it's already famous. Once we make good profits from this book, we'll launch more. We can even create special editions to sell at auctions for high prices. If I don't make 10 times the profit, then my name isn't CJ. Lucas thinks, this kid is incredibly sharp. Lucas then asks, how will you hide all this from the family? CJ replies, I've thought about that too. We'll open a shop in Xingyutang and start operations there. At that moment, Lucas takes out some money and hands it to CJ. He says, your plan is solid. I support you. But if you want to go further, your father's name alone won't be enough. You'll need to give benefits to others too. CJ says, I've planned that as well. I'll give proper bribes to officials so that my work never gets interrupted and I can keep earning money. Lucas nods. All right, then we'll start tomorrow. Lucas thinks, the capital is huge. Finding someone here is very difficult. I'll go out again tomorrow. Maybe I'll meet that girl again. The next day, Lucas returns to the temple. People around him whisper, who is this boy? Why is he sitting outside the temple? Who is he waiting for? Lucas thinks, yesterday the temple was completely empty. Why are there so many people here today? Maybe I came too early. Let me go inside and check. Meanwhile, Pella watches him from behind the gate and thinks, I knew it, you would come back. Ever since he arrived, he's been waiting at the gate. His intentions don't seem good. I won't let him go this time. As Lucas walks toward the gate, Pella prepares to capture him. But suddenly, Lucas stops. He hears Uncle Wuju's voice. Young master, there's danger here. Leave immediately. Lucas steps back, thinking, what just happened? Did Uncle Wuju warn me? Is there danger inside the temple? If that was really his voice, I should leave immediately. Pila thinks, he's trying to escape. I can't let him get away. I have to catch him now. Just then, Uncle Wuju suddenly appears behind Pila and places a sword at his neck. Pila was shocked. Who is this man? When did he get behind me? I didn't even notice. Only a master-level expert could move this fast. If he's really a master, I won't survive. Since I can't escape, I'll fight with everything I've got. Thinking this, Pella begins releasing a massive amount of energy. Pella says, I am a 9th rank master. Let me see just how powerful a true master-level expert really is. With that, he unleashes a fierce and dangerous attack, but when the strike lands, there was no one behind him. Because of the sheer force of his own attack, Pella ends up injuring himself, even coughing up blood. He thinks, I was so scared that I thought the person behind me would kill me. That's why I used such a powerful attack, and now I've seriously injured myself. But that master, he got behind me without me even noticing, and then left so quickly that even my strongest attack couldn't touch him. If he had wanted to, he could have killed me, so why didn't he? Furious, Pella shouts, tell me, why didn't you kill me? Then we see Master Wuju standing above. Master Wuju says, because of you, Lucas coughed up blood, and now because of me, you are coughing up blood. It's very simple. Whatever pain you cause Lucas, I will return to you in equal measure. What happens next will be revealed in the next episode. Thank you for watching and stay tuned.